Yellowstone National Park in Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho, United States, is one of the most beautiful and dangerous national parks in the U.S. There you will find geothermal hot springs, geysers, volcanoes, bison, wolves, and many other forms of wildlife. Established in 1872, Yellowstone National Park is the world's first national park and has rich cultural history. Many Native American tribes relied on the land, and there's evidence that people lived there 11,000 years ago. There are over 1,900 archaeological sites on Yellowstone, and only 3% of the park has been explored by archaeologists. These sites show that people who lived there and relied on the land have a deep relationship with it. The features of the park make it breathtakingly unique and special, with extreme weather and magnificent views. These features also make park guidelines very important to follow and allow scientists to study and predict potential disasters before they occur. In this series, we'll be talking about the wild and eerie tales about U.S. national parks. I'm Wavy Seller, and let's get into it. Have you ever fantasized about swimming in a nice warm hot spring? How about filming your experience? Maybe you aspire to show family and friends, or become an influencer, showing off your exploration skills. While some hot springs are safe and legal, with the proper precautions, Yellowstone prohibits the public from hot potting or swimming in hot springs. And that's for good reason, as many of the geothermal features there, such as hot springs and geysers, are boiling hot, extremely acidic, and generally unstable. Park Colin Scott, a 22-year-old man from Oregon, was visiting the park, filming him and his sister on his cell phone, searching for a hot spring to swim in. Unfortunately, being distracted, he slipped on uneven terrain and fell into a boiling, acidic hot spring. His sister had to run to the museum before she could get help, as there was no cell service. When rescuers got there, although his head, upper torso, and arms were visible, Scott had passed away from thermal burns. The water was 212 degrees Fahrenheit, leaving him with deep thermal burns. Rescuers could not immediately retrieve him due to the hazardous conditions and impending lightning storm. Overnight, his body dissolved in the boiling acidic water, leaving nothing but the hot spring itself in the morning. His remains were never recovered. While we were researching this video, you would be surprised what we found as the most common death in Yellowstone. During the 100 deadliest days, while wildlife in geothermal areas could lead to harrowing tales of wildlife attacks, or people or animals being burned by geothermal activity, like a bison who ventured into a giant prismatic spring, the most common cause of death in Yellowstone is none of these. Only 22 people have died from hot springs at Yellowstone. 8 people have died from bear attacks, and 2 have died from bison attacks. If you look up accidents and incidents at Yellowstone, you will not find very many stories of the actual landscape or wildlife causing danger. But instead you will find article after article finding deadly car or van accidents, fiery crashes, drunk drivers, and 7-car pileups. Over 30 car accidents in just one day on the road leading in to Yellowstone. This is especially true during the fall and winter months, when there are heavy winds, snow, and ice. In October 2025, Yellowstone closed their roads due to over 30 traffic accidents in just one day. Snowmobile accidents lead to serious injuries frequently. In January 2026, there were at least 3 snowmobile accidents. Winter is dangerous because of the weather, but it's not even the deadliest time to visit Yellowstone. The time between Memorial Day and Labor Day is considered by law enforcement and first responders to be the 100 deadliest days of the year. due to heavy traffic from tourists and people on vacation visiting the park at higher volumes. These accidents spanned the roads of all 3 states: Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana. However, this accident was in Idaho on the entrance to the park. The roads that lead into the entrance of the national parks are very busy, and it is very difficult for first responders to access them due to the elevation and terrain. This means that most accidents require airlift and response times are slower. In an event like a fiery collision, this can leave time for increased fatalities. Yellowstone's terrain and their remote locations make this place dangerous, in part because it takes more time for help to arrive in emergency situations than it would in more accessible locations. In May 2025, a pickup truck collided with a tour van, leading to 7 fatalities. Flames and smoke engulfed the vehicles, and it was later determined that the driver of the pickup truck was drunk with an alcohol blood volume of twice the legal limit. In general, caution is essential to traveling into Yellowstone Park. So be careful traveling to Yellowstone National Park. The man, the myth, the legend. Bigfoot has been found at Yellowstone National Park. According to National Geographic, researchers found DNA evidence of a giant ape that is not native to the park in surrounding states. Here's a video of Bigfoot caught at Yellowstone in 2015.
Oh my God! It's Bigfoot!
Let me know what you think in the comments, but the DNA is kind of uncanny. Speaking of uncanny, Yellowstone's lake sings, hums, or roars. Its sounds are amplified by the mountains as the ice expands and cracks, or at least that's what scientists theorize. However, they are not entirely sure of why this happens. There are some legends that suggest the sounds are created by spirits. Indigenous legends about the lake often mention departed souls, or even serpent-like protective spirits, as the cause of the singing. There are also records of people hearing whispers. The Yellowstone Lake Hotel is also suspected to be haunted, as some have mentioned they'd seen a helpful porter apparition in 1900s-style clothing. Maybe there aren't just serpent spirits in Yellowstone, but other fantastical beasts too. There are caves in Yellowstone with hot springs that make roaring sounds from the steam and bubbling water. One is called the Black Dragon, and the other is called Dragon's Mouth. There is a legend that comes from the Crow tribe, who lived on and near Yellowstone for centuries. Legend has it that a giant reptilian creature with flame-colored scales, fire-breathing abilities, and sharp teeth and claws lives in Yellowstone. They call the creature a cave dragon, and as you would assume, it's very powerful and a life-threatening creature. It has the power to control natural disasters and resides in a cave system in Yellowstone. According to Crow legend, the dragon will fly out of its cave to feed on animals and burn trespassers with its fiery breath. The reason cryptids are so interesting is you're never sure if the locals made up the story to explain the mysterious ways of Yellowstone, or if they truly saw something they weren't supposed to see. The heart of Yellowstone is actually a giant dormant volcano. Some scientists have shown concern that should the volcano erupt, it would lead to millions of deaths across the US. The volcano has continued to rise, but has shown low levels of unrest. Yellowstone can have up to 3,000 earthquakes per year, each one creating the possibility of fresh magma being fed into the chamber under the volcano. In the last 2.1 million years, Yellowstone has erupted 3 times. Each had a gap from 600,000 to 800,000. The last eruption is estimated to have occurred 640,000 years ago, leading researchers to wonder if time is running out before the next one. The gas, volcanic ash, magma, and other debris would cover most of the continental U.S., stretching as far as Louisiana. Past eruptions also caused the volcano to crash in on itself, creating a massive depression in the ground, where trees, mountains, and everything else in the landscape would fall into the vast chasm. This is called a caldera, and because of these events' past influence on Yellowstone landscape, Yellowstone is also called a caldera. If you find yourself in the Midwest US during the eruption, you would be shrouded in complete darkness from smoke and ash. Hot, dry rocks and gases, called pyroclastic flows, would fly through the air around you, destroying anything they ran into. A high amount of them speeding towards you, and your neighborhood could bury you. Magma would spew out of cracks in the ground surrounding the volcano. It would be like hell opened up and swallowed 3/4 of the US. Scientists monitoring the activity are not seeing signs of an eruption anytime soon, but that could quickly change. Will this wild and beautiful giant turn the US into Pompeii? Will generations after us find our perfectly encapsulated bodies fossilized in ash and rock? Only time will tell. Overall, Yellowstone is a magnificent national park with some eerie and mysterious features. We really enjoyed researching and making this video. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you'll get updated when we post videos about cryptids and anything creepy. Can't wait to see you in the next one.